again, you see my horrible fingers spreading out there. But you can see why the separation is necessary sometimes. It's white anyways. So we're going to go ahead and slice this guy real quick. And you can hear it hit that skin. A little click clack. Sometimes I'll stab in. Eventually you'll come up with something that works. The important one is keep those fingertips away and work on your accuracy and your consistency, not your speed. For a dice, we're going to take these julienne peppers and we're just going to go ahead and grab a couple. And we just go the other way. Almost like you would a chiffonade. And there we are. Tasty pepper. So there's our bell pepper. And then this guy, much like the tops, I like to cut them in half. I'll go ahead and I'll take my julienne. Some people are fine cutting them either way. You know, use your judgment. With this one, we're dicing. And bear with me, the counter I'm working on doesn't lend itself to flatness. And there's our... One of the other things that I'll bring up that is a definite no-no is you see people use the knife to move their ingredients around the board. This is not a problem in and of itself, but you never want to use the blade of the knife. You always use the back of the knife. And nobody ever seems to bring that up, even though it's a generalized habit to do so. Again, there's that claw method, so that I want that white out of there. There we go. Some of these pieces have a lot of white in them because it's the top. So as I'm dicing them through, depending on how much time I have, if you're in a hurry, you're just dicing. Today I'm not in a hurry, so I can go through and clean them up quite a bit, and then we'll do our dice. Here, eat that one. Yeah, it was a little bitter. Well, same thing with our bottom. We've got our pepper butt, if you will. And we can twist it. And this is the easy part. It's when I get into the onion that things get a little difficult. There's our peppers. Now the onion, let's go ahead and set that aside. The onion's a whole another world, and I've had many conversations about whether or not there's a good way to dice an onion. There is not. No, I'm not going to use ham. I'll use ham for this. So we're going to go ahead and use our chef's knife. We're going to use the Hinkle. And there's multiple camps on how you should do this. Typically, you cut the butt of the onion off. And if you've ever done prep cook for any larger kitchens that go through a lot of onions, as soon as you do that, you're doing these by the boatload. We're going to peel any outer layers that seem rubbery. Usually you can peel one layer off, sometimes you have to peel two. Unfortunately with this one I have to peel two, it's been sitting a little while. Don't be afraid to peel it off. It might seem wasteful if you have chickens or stock pots. These are really good soup stock onions. They're just not good for food, and I would rather have some good stock pot onions or some good mulch than a horrible onion in my food. And ooh, buddy, there it is. Now they tell you to do it under running water. It does help, but most of the time as a cook, you can't really do that. So now we've got the butt of the onion, and there's a reason for the butt of the onion. We're going to go ahead and we're going to cut that onion in half, and we're going to use that butt to hold the onion while we dice it. Now, there are multiple ways of dicing onions. If you ask anyone, they're going to give you their way, they're going to give you their way, they're going to give you their way. I've seen people slice them this way, and then this way, and then this way. I've seen many, many different ways. My particular way is this. I will come in here and I will slice here along the striations. Again, notice how I use that claw method. Even with my thumb on this side, I'm trying to keep, yeah, see, the bare minimum of hand available to that knife blade. Then we're going to tilt that sideways, and we're going to do the same method. And this is where it gets difficult because you've got to kind of hold it together at the same time. It's going to want to spread out. But you can see a decent, between the cuts that we made and the striations themselves in the onion, we can get a fairly consistent cut. And this is what we would call a small dice, by the way, all the way through. And these will break apart pretty quick, as you can see. And as I get to the top here, the end, the bitter end, if you will, that's where you're using this guy to hold it. And here we can always and then here I just usually do one of these. And there is our diced onion. That one's a little big, I think. A little big. There we go. So we've got a good diced onion there. Now, for julienne, we're going to use both in our potatoes, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. For julienne, we're going to go ahead and take both sides off the onion. Ooh, take a little bit more. There we go. And we're just going to do that same pattern all the way across. And there's our julienne onion. So we've got our onion, and we've got our pepper, and we've got our potatoes, and I'm jumping ahead of myself, opening up the cabinet for a bowl, but that's okay, because I want my julienne onions. I use multiple bowls. It's always good to have extra bowls, everything on hand, everything ready. Mise en place, as they call it. Everything in its place, everything ready. A good cook keeps everything that they need prior to starting. Ooh, that's a strong onion. Right at hand, so that everything is very on time. Timing is a big deal as a cook. And we're going to go ahead and, while we're here, we're going to go ahead and square those up. And we're just going to, get a couple of runners. More than a couple of runners. Don't be afraid if things run away. You can always grab them later. Chop them up in post. Catch them on the flip side there. I'm chasing everything today, obviously. But that's okay. Because by the time this is all mixed up, nobody's going to notice the size. Now, if I were making a salad or something where I was concerned about the image of how large or small my pieces were, if I was plating fancy, I would be a lot more than that careless. That was pretty careless of me, right there. That would have gotten me a failing grade. Failing grade right there, but that's okay. Now we're going to do that. And there's our peppers and onions. Move our potato. And so there's our peppers and onions and potatoes. And we will go ahead and take a quick commercial break. I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to cut the rest of these potatoes, yay, with the knife that I was originally cutting potatoes with. I'm going to cut the rest of these potatoes. I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to watch me do this forever. It's so exciting to watch somebody cut potatoes on video. Huh, isn't that exciting? That's exciting. It's the best thing I've done all day. I'm still tearing up from that onion. Oof. Okay. I have to deal with that in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and take a break and cut these potatoes, and then we're going to come back so that you can see how I fry them up, as well as prepare our schnitzel. So we have, in short, we have bacon, we have onion, green pepper, potatoes, still got a lemon sitting here, we've got plans for him, and we'll get back to you. Oh, and a sneeze. Thank you.